Hello, everybody, and welcome back to It's Okay to Be Okay. I'm Jen. I'm here with Crystal and Melissa, and we have a very special guest, Dr. Dicken Bettinger. Um, Dicken, I'm gonna kind of let you, I don't have a big thing of who you are, so I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. I'm gonna let you kind of talk a little bit.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me. Uh, it's lovely to do it at this time of year. December is my favorite month. I don't know about you guys. End of November, December. I mean, I love Thanksgiving, and I've learned to love Christmas because I think holidays started because somebody got touched deeply inside and wanted to celebrate what they realized. I mean, Thanksgiving. There have been people all over the world that have dropped into a quiet space inside. I mean, maybe sitting around a fire in a cave, just gazing at the fire. Some people say that's where meditation actually started. I think meditation is actually our natural state, so I think it started before then, but imagine just sitting there looking into this light, and you're so excited to have fire and to have light and to have warmth and all that fire allowed people to do, cook food. I mean, and in that quiet, sitting around with your clans people, like here we are, our little clan. And when you get quiet enough, you can't help but to feel connected to people and to life. You can't help but feel uplifted. You can't help but feel what people call peace of mind. And you begin to feel that feeling. And I think that's how all holidays started. Someone dropped into that quiet space within and felt grateful. So they started Thanksgiving, an opportunity to celebrate the capacity human beings have for gratitude. See, I think there's an outer expression of a holiday and there's an inner expression. And I think the holiday starts with an inner expression. And if the inner expression gets lost, then everybody focuses on the outer and the inner gets lost. The true meaning. Is this making sense?
Yes, yes, and I
Absolutely.
love that you say that, Dickon. I mean, holidays used to be hard for me. I struggled in the holidays because it meant fighting and lack and just things falling apart, and I dreaded it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well, that's often the case for people. And I think that's why it's important to rediscover what lies within. Do you know light has been used? It's probably the oldest metaphor for our soul, our heart. It's been used in every culture from the beginning of time. People have used light because my experience of this is that when I am in my head thinking about life, I can be all contracted. So innocently, I'm caught up in my thinking, paying attention to the content, and I'm outside, and I cover the light so I don't feel it or see it. But when any human being completely surrenders, releases, drops out of that tension, that fear, the energy of their being, instead of contracting, begins to expand. And so words like radiate and light and warmth, love, have been used for centuries to point toward our true nature. When we uncover the light within, anyone can experience a beautiful feeling that radiates, and you can't be thinking about life and experiencing the light at the same time. I can't. If I think about things, I don't feel happy while I'm thinking about things. I don't feel peaceful while I'm thinking about things. If I'm with my wife thinking about things, she won't feel any love coming from me at all. If I'm with my dog, Melissa, thinking about things, my dog will paw me.
My dog does the same as well. Like, if he wants to play with me and I'm in my thinking, he knows I'm in my thinking and he'll just go, meh. He'll huff and puff because he knows I'm not present with him, even if I'm throwing him his toy.
Exactly. Exactly. Animals are extremely sensitive to presence. Presence means we've uncovered that true self. We're safe. When we're in our heads and fearful, we're not safe. We do crazy things. So I think it's very important for people to discover this light within. And every holiday celebrates light. If you're with a friend who's suffering, and psychological suffering is always when people get caught up in thinking and think it's true and think that what they're thinking is true. When you fall out of thought, you find a peace that passes intellectual understanding. It's just crazy. It's amazing. I mean, we have friends who are in the hospital now, 2 different friends, and we go visit. And people like dogs, cats, can sense presence, and in the face of presence, people often relax because you're safe. When we're in our head, we can be very judgmental, very critical, very mean, even, or harsh. You fall out of thinking and you come back to your original nature, which is radiant being, which is pure energy, which is light. So, like a couple of nights ago, my wife and I just were getting into the feeling of the holidays, which you can have any time of the year, anywhere, and you take it with you. That light is within you. When we've stopped holding, we radiate. It's that simple. Everybody has perfect well-being inside. I've seen no exceptions to this. And as a psychologist, I worked with people with every psychiatric diagnosis. And when people fall out of all the negative thinking they're caught up in and thinking it's true, they can experience peace of mind, they can smile, they can laugh, they can enjoy. It's right here, always. that we can still sit around the fire in the cave of the heart. In spiritual teaching, they'll talk about the cave of the heart, right? We come into that dark, quiet space within, and it's relaxing. It's ordinary. It's always right here underneath all that busy-mindedness we get caught up in and start thinking is reality. So there is another reality. Some people call it our true nature. Some people call it a spiritual reality. Some people say the divine within. Some people call it our soul. The other night, my wife and I drove around the neighborhood, and people are starting to decorate with light. And on a dark evening, to see these beautiful lights just shining forth can be a reminder of our true nature. It can be an invitation to fall back into that space within. It can be. It is for me now. Whenever I see light, it reminds me of the true light, which is the light that shines through all of us. So let me tell you how practical this is. It used to be during the holidays, I would start speeding up because I had so many things I needed to do. Presents I had to buy, and my family got bigger and bigger and bigger, and it was more and more running around. And before you know it, I realized that the paradox was, here's the time to celebrate the light, and I'm running around like a chicken with his head cut off, and I'm not enjoying. I'm stressing out. And I can distinctly remember one year, many years ago, when I realized how I was covering up my own light innocently, thinking that the holiday was outside of myself. I got tricked. Holiday is to celebrate the beauty within all beings, the light within all beings, the divinity within all beings. That's what the true celebration is. And it's found in the quiet of our own being, always, only. And I started to slow down. I started to go twice as slow rather than twice as fast. Literally, instead of running home from work, which I used to do, I walked slower than I usually walk. And I just quieted down into that deeper feeling. And I looked around at all the decorations and the people, and I fell in to love. Didn't matter what other people were doing. Didn't matter if other people were Scrooges. I'm celebrating the light of the season. I'm celebrating the light of my being. And then my favorite Christmas carol made more sense to me than ever. And I understood why it was my favorite. Silent Night. I tear up every single time I hear it because it reminds me of our true nature. Silent night, holy night. See, we're talking spiritual already. Spiritual just means it's formless. You drop into this formless energy of being, of spirit. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. My teacher, Sydney Banks, an enlightened spiritual teacher, would say truth is always found in silence and a beautiful feeling. To me, it's the key. To me, this is the essence of all true spiritual teaching, is that within the quiet of being, we're all human beings, within the quiet of being, there's the uncovering of radiant feeling. You could just say simply, when people relax, they feel better. You could say it that way. That's true. You could say every night when you fall asleep and you let go of your thinking, which people have to do in order to fall asleep. Every night when you fall asleep, you fall into a more peaceful place. That's why in Silent Night, they say sleep in heavenly peace. Many people say waking up to our true nature is the first step, is falling out of our head into our heart. Look at the Christmas story, the night before Christmas. The spirit of generosity, Santa, is the spirit of generosity within all humans, our saintness. Landed on the roof, our head. But at that particular time, all was quiet, all was calm. The kids were snug in their beds, already dreaming, peaceful, dreaming of sugar plums, having beautiful dreams. So that's our personal mind. They're up in the bedroom, they're up in the attic, and it's all calm and quiet. When our thinking mind becomes calm and quiet, then there's a descent of falling into deeper feeling. So Santa goes down the chimney into what? The hearth. What's the hearth? It's the place where there's the fire. It's the heart. The radiant beauty of the light in the cave of the heart. See, isn't it interesting that in the story they have this guy going down a chimney? Come on. What's the deal with that? And going into the fireplace, what's the deal with that? It's so frigging universally symbolic of dropping out of our thinking into the heart, which is the space within us. It's not the physical heart, it's the space within us where our energy stops contracting and it begins to expand. What happens when any of us expand? We become more kind, more giving, Thanksgiving, more generous. So Santa fills the stockings with gifts. We are uplifted by the gifts of well-being. He's got a twinkle in his eye. That's the light. Our sainthood lights up. And then we rise up. There's a rising up as we feel better, as we fill up with beautiful feeling. We stop being so down. We stop being so uptight and heavy, and we lighten up. Lighten up. so that we can be kinder, more loving, more generous. So he comes, rises up, and then flies off, and then gives blessings to the world. And literally, any of us, any one of us, can quiet down and bring more light to our friends who are struggling, to the friggin' news that's insane, documenting people at their worst. We can bring a light into the world and make a difference. And it doesn't matter if everybody around us is caught up and acting out, innocently caught up and acting out in crazy ways. It doesn't matter. I was in a war zone once and I dropped into the heart and it saved my life. Very practical. So now, every night before bed in December, I have a fun little ritual. I go sit in my living room quietly and I have my little snow globes out. I put them out yesterday. Oh God, I love snow globes. It's like our little heads when all is calm and all is bright. And the snow of our thinking has settled so that we can see the beauty within and the lights. And soon we'll have a tree with lights, and the lights remind me of the light within. And I drop into the most beautiful feeling. Now, having learned this has changed my life, because now when I'm having difficulties, which I do, and I get stressed, I get reactive, I get upset, I get uptight again, I don't judge it. I don't see it as a problem. I see it as an invitation to come back, to come home. That's why I wrote my book about coming home, coming back to the hearth, to the heart, to the light, to the love. And it will uplift me no matter how much I've been struggling or having difficulty. And it will help me to bring kindness back into the world and back to other people who are being miserable, Scrooges, right? It'll help bring that love back into the world. It's the greatest thing I've ever discovered. It's the only thing I wanted my kids to learn, is that they have perfect well-being inside, and that in the quiet of their mind, the universal divine light shines, and it will not only shine and uplift, it will nourish us. It uplifts and guides us toward being generous and kind. So Christmas for me is a celebration of the generosity of spirit. If you look at it from the outside, it's a commercial, crazy adventure of buying and selling more goods. But if you look at it from inside, it's a celebration of the natural human tendency when we fall into this cave of the heart, we become more generous with ourselves and with others. So that's what I wanted. That's that's
Thank you.
last night it just hit me. This is what I need to talk about now at this time of year and in this podcast with you folks. So
Thank
I-
you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
beautiful.
beautiful.
I think
Um,
I feel like I just got told a brand new Christmas story, the version of Saint Nick and coming down. Just the way you brought it down was just beautiful, and I love it because the real gift is not what's under the tree.
yeah.
The real gift is what's inside us: the light, the warmth, the compassion, the presence, right there And like you said, it doesn't have to be December. It could be March. It could be June.
Any time we can celebrate the light, anytime, and especially when there's darkness in our lives. Because don't get me wrong, I know people go through times of suffering. I have. I don't know anybody who hasn't. I'm working with war refugees in Africa right now, and oh my God, the suffering that they've been through and are going through. And they're discovering that nothing on the outside can destroy the light within. Or when I've had people call in from bomb shelters in the Ukraine, and they're discovering this light within. It's our salvation. It's where I find hope when things on the outside seem hopeless. Because this light can't be destroyed, damaged, or taken away from us. So it's a gift. It's given to all human beings. And it's changed how I look at people, because I know, like me, any of us can innocently get caught up in thought and get crazy and do crazy. But I know that inside everybody always is the light, and it's always there. And so I'm learning to see that light in people even when they're in their crazy. I'm learning to look at myself with those eyes, even when I'm in my crazy. And that's what compassion is. Compassion means seeing, in my mind, seeing the light.
Yeah. Well, and one thing I'd like to say really, really fast, because I know it's made a huge difference in me. And you had talked about the slowing down, needing to slow down. And a lot of stuff can happen. And
Dicken's
in the
got a bit red
slowing
there.
down, I know.
I'm gonna give him a second.
He's gone as
Yep.
red as Santa.
Give him a minute.
You okay? Do you need some water? I love what he just said.
Yeah,
I,
it's so lovely.
I swear it was like the best version of a Christmas story I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. And it's like, as soon as we see our thinking, as soon as we see it for thinking and can step out of it and can be present, it doesn't matter what's going on around us. When we're steady and grounded and present, the people around us can't help but slow down a little bit. I've noticed that. I've noticed that in almost all the things I do. And yeah, no, go on. Go
No, I
ahead.
was just gonna say, like, as you were talking about holidays and that, like, for last few years, like, on my healing journey, like, I stopped liking Christmas. And it's only the last few years where I'm beginning to enjoy it again. And I realized as Deacon was talking, I was like, why do I don't give a shit about the commercial stuff, but why is it like I feel so like I love family time? And it's because that holiday brings in that family time and everyone loosens up, everyone feels safe, and that love gets, like, you can see everyone's light shining. And that's why holidays are so powerful, because it's like a container where people just let go a bit more and just let their light out, you know? So I thought that was really, really nice.
And yeah, just the light, everything, the being present and the slowing down. And then when the people around you slow down, like we had a lot going on this Thanksgiving, and still, when I could catch myself in my head and reground myself, it's like I was grounding everybody in the house. And this was surrounded by pain and hurt, and still one of the best Thanksgivings I've ever had. We had 0 issues even with extra people. We had love and we had laughter, and it was just I experienced the holiday in a way I never have, and it's because of this understanding. It's because I could see my thoughts as thoughts and not believe them and get caught up in the story. And yeah, I'm not completing sentences, so I apologize. It's just kind of halfway, but it's amazing. And it's a gift that I didn't know was possible before. This quiet and the calm
Mm.
and the silence being welcoming and alive and holding you instead of being scary and creepy and you should run.
And the giving as well, the generosity that you're speaking about. Like I know we said this on my last podcast. I took my brother and his girlfriend to the hospital, and on the way, my petrol was going low, and that kind of shrinking kind of feeling like, oh, I need to ask for money, or he should ask me, all that's kind of thinking. And then, like you, Dick, and I just had this one moment that just kind of like, no, you're safe. And it felt so light. I just kind of, that shrinking feeling just kind of let go. And I was like, no, I don't need to. I'm safe. And I just felt abundant. I just felt so abundant. I didn't have the money in my account, but I felt abundant. And I felt like, no, I want to take my brother there because I'm doing him a favor. I don't want anything back from it. That felt good.
I'll bet.
Yeah. It's kind of like I said on the last podcast too, in my Thanksgiving story, I had just come off the most beautiful call on the 3PGC that Wynn Morgan was leading a call last week on Thanksgiving Day. And I came out of the room, and shortly thereafter, and it was a beautiful call. So many people had just magical. And I come out, and I'm at my sister's house, and the turkeys aren't cooking like we thought they were going to be. And just things were just starting to go downhill. And my sister became very reactive, went into the garage, I know was having a bit of a meltdown. Her husband came in, and just the stress of everybody being there. He's yelling at her, he's yelling at everybody, and his grandkids are all around. And I sat there for a moment, and I wanted to say something, and I pushed it back down. I was like, nope, nope, nope. And then it came back up. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to say something. I'm going to say something out of peace, out of love. I love him, but this is not the time to be acting that way in front of your grandkids, in front of family. Just take a breath and step back. And after I let that out, it didn't
Mm.
ruin the Thanksgiving. Nobody was upset with each other. We had a wonderful time, but we kind of talked about it last time. Sometimes, like, I want to say something, and I'm like, oh, well, that's not really principles of me. But this time I did, and it was a beautiful holiday because it is the stress and the expectations and the pressure that people put on themselves. It can feel so heavy, and when one little thing doesn't go right, the stories start in their head, and it's a snowball effect from there. And just to stop and reset and see that one moment doesn't have to ruin the whole day, the whole holiday, the whole experience. That that's beautiful to me. I love this understanding because
That's
of
a great
moments.
story, Crystal.
It's true. I mean, Crystal lost your shit for a minute, but
We
I
all
want to
do.
be loud.
We all do. But when you know where to look, you keep coming back to that place. I call it our drop-in center. We keep coming back there where we feel safe again, where we feel clear about it. When we're looking at life through all that negative thinking, it's like looking through a dark, distorted lens. We don't see things clearly. We see things very judgmentally. So when we drop back into that lighter place, calmer place, we see through a different lens. The world changes. We don't see the same world. Literally, people look different. At one minute, somebody looks like a demon. Next minute, you see that they're just caught up in suffering. At one minute, you want to kill them. The next minute, you have compassion for them. It depends on where you're looking from. So I like seeing our feelings of tension, stress, and upset are friendly because they let us know we're caught upstairs and we need to come down into the living room, come down into the warmth, the light, and we will be protected. We won't become stupider, we become wiser. We don't become more vulnerable, we become more creatively open to possibilities, creatively open to how to deal with, like in your story, Crystal, you come back with different ideas for how to proceed. You get guided by this deeper intelligence within that people call wisdom. That it's our go-to once you understand this. So I can see why you say, "Oh, I really love this understanding." Well, now you've discovered your true self, that it's always here. Sid Banks used to say something very, very radical, very radical. He said, "You're a thought away from what you're looking for." We're here and we're a thought away from release. Now we're falling. So they talk about falling asleep, falling in love, falling out of your head into your heart, falling into your true self instead of your crazy persona. This is just a cartoon character, or it's like waking up from a nightmare. You fall awake and the nightmare and you go, "Oh, thank God it was just a bad dream." It's not truth. It's not reality. Right? So it's freeing. It's ultimately freeing, is to have this secret. No matter what happens in your life, life is a contact sport, man. Shit happens. But shifts happen. Shifts happen when we drop from here to here. We shift into a different reality. So this notion that we're always a thought away from being present, and only in the present can we experience well-being. Only quiet doesn't mean we're sitting somewhere quietly. I used to play sports and I'd be running full speed and all kinds of stuff would be happening, and I'd drop into an incredibly quiet mind. You can be in the midst of, that's Crystal's story, you can be in the midst of a family crisis and find a quiet that's in the midst of this chaos, of the peace that passes intellectual understanding. And it's right there available to all of us. So this notion that we already have well-being, and the notion that we're a thought away from remembering so that we release, as you talked about, Melissa, that letting go of the old thinking that's painful, being willing to let it go. Some people say that's really what forgiveness is. You don't forgive behavior. You let go of judgmental thoughts about people, about ourselves, about life. That's what freedom really is. So over and over again, we're falling, waking up, dropping out of this, and then we become more and more radiant ourselves. We have a bigger impact on the people around us. Jennifer, you talked about that, about the impact you have on the people around you just by being in that place. I have a huge impact on my dog. When he's wound up and I drop in, get out of my head. What's he doing? Why is he being this way? Well, come on, stop it. And then I drop into that quiet and calm. He picks right up on it. It affects him.
Yeah.
It affects my two-year-old. When my grandson was 2-year-old and wild, when I drop into that, or one of my grandkids was upset and crying, and I dropped into that, it affected them. Be a light unto the world, bring light into the darkness. The darkness doesn't stand a chance. No matter how dark. Light overcomes darkness is the hopeful, truthful, spiritual understanding of life.
So I guess no light can hide in the dark.
Say that again, Melissa.
There is no light that can hide in the dark.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Say more about that.
I get visuals, a lot of visuals. And I just saw that a light trying to hide in the dark, and it had nowhere to hide. I see it everywhere, like even from my past. Everything in my past I look at with so much gratitude and love, because I can't even say the word. I put a light on it.
Yeah. Sid used to say, don't ever look back into the past, ever, unless you can shine a light on it, unless you can see it through the eyes of love and compassion. Because otherwise you're just caught back up into painful memory and thinking that that's reality. It's just a thought. It's not reality. There is no past. There is no future. Those are concepts. You let go of thought. You can bring thoughts with you from previous moments, but now it's a present moment memory that we get caught up in.
Mm.
We're a thought away from being freed of the influence of that memory. And that's how healing happens. When people let go of painful memories, healing happens. If you hold on to it, feed it, keep thinking about it, think it's true, that makes it stronger. You're adding more memory onto that memory.
Yeah, it did. When I was going through all of my healing and traditional therapy and things like that, I did get worse. And it wasn't until I started to kind of going away from that and free principles and modalities like this that I'm like, I've been doing this to myself all these years. And now I look back and I'm like, I'm glad I did it, because like I learned a lot. But when you understand that it is just a thought, fuck me, your life changes like that. It's crazy.
Well, in so many ways. This weekend, I've been struggling, trying to figure things out, trying to get things taken care of. And I know I would be manic. So, like, I'm scared to trust my thoughts, because is this manic? Is this manic thoughts right now? Am I and I started burying myself in ooh, I can't trust myself right now. And all the thoughts of, is this going to end up with me living in my car again? Is this because but that drop-in center you talk about, it's like as soon as I notice the fact that I was aware that it could be a manic thought, it helped me fall into that drop-in zone. And even though I'm going 100 miles an hour, even though it's like I've been able to stay present, and what usually would have taken me down for probably the entire month before, just in being present, I have my next step.
Research has shown, Jennifer, that one of the most helpful things that people can learn is that struggle, pain, upset is not a curse. It's an invitation to drop in,
Yeah.
come back, to let go of everything you're thinking. When you fall asleep, you can't let go of some of it and keep thinking about something else. You can't think about your thinking. You can't think about, well, we can, but when we do, we can't. It makes it harder to fall asleep. At some point, we have to let go of everything we're thinking. And I used to think about my thinking all the time. So I learned the principles and I start thinking about my thinking. Oh, I'm thinking, oh, I got to stop thinking. I got to quiet down. And it's just even more thinking than before. Right. So when the things that we used to think of as symptoms of mental illness arise, they're not symptoms of mental illness. They're our health trying to wake us up. It's wisdom trying to wake us up to the now, to the heart, to presence, to the light within, and to fall back into that space. Then it's a good thing. Then it's a friendly reminder. It's like an alarm clock going off to wake you up when you need to wake up. And when people see that connection, that this is not a curse, it doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It's not cause for more thinking and more judgment. It's an invitation to release all thought.
It changes everything.
Plain and simple. You put your hand on a hot stove, you don't just take off one finger or maybe two fingers. This happens. You're holding something too hot, you don't analyze what to do. There is no technique, there's understanding. And you let go. It's not a technique. When I feel this, it's not a technique to drop into center, the heart. The heart, it's not a technique, it's an understanding, it's a realization.
Well,
Beautiful.
Dicken, thank you so much for coming on.
How totally fun. I mean, this has felt like holiday to me, let me tell you, to be with the three of you, and thank you for your sharing. It's been delightful.
We love having you on here. Everybody, if you would like, share, subscribe, leave us comments, ask us questions. We are here. Dicken Bettinger can be reached at, you got to tell them your email or your website. Sorry, Dicken.
Yeah, go to my YouTube channel, I think, and if you liked what you heard today, it'd be better to do it that way. And my website is on there, but lots of talks like this that can help you discover what the four of us have been discovering and continue to discover, because there's no end to what we can discover about the connection between the spiritual nature of life and the psychological expression of that spirit. So
There's also more resources available at the3pgc.org. And yes, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you,
Thanks,
Dicken, for
guys.
being
And
with
thank
us.
Thank
you.
you again.
bye, everybody.
Bye.